The courtroom today feels heavy, cold, as if even the walls are bracing for impact. People fill the benches with whispers, but even their whispers sound nervous, as if they know something dangerous is about to unfold. This isn't a custody hearing. It isn't a financial battle. It's something larger, darker, the kind of truth that can rip families apart long before a judge decides anything. Kody sits ramrod straight at the defense table, his arms crossed, his jaw clenched so tightly it looks painful. His eyes continue darting toward the door, hunting, searching, worried. Robyn sits beside him, shoulders hunched, clutching a tissue box like a lifeline. She tries to look composed, but her hands betray her, trembling uncontrollably in her lap. Behind them, Christine and Janelle sit together. Christine sits up straight, almost too straight, her chin lifted like she's preparing for war. Janelle just looks tired, worn down, bracing herself for a storm she's already lived through once before. And then the room changes. The double doors open slowly and silently, and Meri steps through. Every conversation stops. Every head turns. The judge even pauses before sitting. Meri walks with the kind of calm that isn't calm at all. It's the quiet before a bomb goes off. Her face is pale, her expression unreadable, but her eyes burn straight into Kody's. She isn't here to forgive. She isn't here to reconcile. She's here to expose. She has a single sealed envelope in her hand, white, thin, ominous. Kody's breath catches the moment he sees it. Robyn's eyes widen with recognition, then fear. Meri doesn't glance at the audience, doesn't smile, doesn't blink. She walks to her seat like a woman who has practiced this moment for months, rehearsed every step, every breath, every word. Finally, the judge takes a seat. A gavel hits the desk. Case number BWR 431. Brown family hearing. All parties present? Everyone answers, but the energy is already spiraling, pulling the room tighter, colder. The judge turns directly to the Brown family. Let me make one thing clear. This is a courtroom, not some reality television show. And there will be no theatrics today. Even the judge doesn't believe that statement. Christine raises an eyebrow. Janelle shakes her head softly. Robyn dabs away her tears, but no one knows yet if they're real. Kody straightens, already defensive. And Meri? She doesn't move. The judge continues. We will begin with testimony from Meri Brown. Whispers ripple through the crowd. As everyone well knows, Meri doesn't speak unless she has something devastating to say. Meri slowly gets up, walks over to the witness stand, and raises her hand to be sworn in. But even then, she doesn't look at the judge. She locks eyes with only one person, Kody. As she sits, she exhales once, shaky but controlled. Miss Brown, the judge says, you may begin. Meri lays the envelope carefully on the table in front of her. The entire room freezes. This didn't start last year, she says softly. This didn't start when Christine left, or when Janelle left, or even when I left. This started much earlier, with a decision Kody and Robyn made that the rest of us were never supposed to know. Robyn stiffens, her hands gripping the table so hard her knuckles whiten. Kody looks down at his lap. Christine's eyes flash. Janelle frowns. Meri continues, her voice growing stronger. Your Honor, this envelope contains DNA results. Results that explain why our family fell apart. Results that reveal a secret none of us were meant to uncover. The judge's eyebrows lift, surprised. DNA. Meri nods. Robyn shakes her head violently, too violently. Kody whispers, "Meri, don't do this." But she's done protecting him. She pushes the envelope forward. The bailiff retrieves it, hands it to the judge. The judge opens it gingerly, scanning the first page. In an instant, her face changes. Confusion, then incredulity, then something near alarm. "Miss Brown," she says slowly, "these results show a familial match." Meri nods again. Everyone holds their breath. "A direct match," the judge says, louder now, "between Robyn Brown and another individual whose identity was never disclosed." The courtroom erupts. Shock, murmurs, gasps. Kody springs from his chair. "Your Honor, this is being twisted." Sit down, Mr. Brown," the judge snaps. Robyn buries her face and shakes uncontrollably. Christine leans forward, whispering, "Oh my God." Janelle looks about ready to faint. Meri says, her voice steady, "This is why I left, Your Honor. This secret, this betrayal, this lie." Meri takes a deep breath before continuing. "It started when someone reached out to me anonymously, telling me there was a child tied to our family that no one knew about." Christine's head snaps up. Janelle freezes. Robyn looks terrified. "I didn't believe it," Meri admits. "I thought it was a cruel rumor. But then the message came with evidence." She pauses. Her voice thickens. A strand of hair. From a child who looked, shockingly, like someone in this family. People in the courtroom shift uncomfortably. The judge leans forward. "You sent it in for evaluation?" "Yes," Meri says. "Because I knew something was wrong. Deeply wrong. And when the results came back, I realized how long this lie had been hidden." The judge looks down at the report again. "This test shows that the child shares genetic markers with..." Robyn interrupts, her voice breaking. "Please, don't say it." But the judge ignores her. "This child shares markers with one of your own children." The room erupts again. Chaos, shouting, and disbelief. Kody slams his hand on the table. "That's a lie. A manipulation." Christine stands, voice sharp. "Kody, you have lied before. Don't pretend now." Janelle whispers through tears, "God, please, tell me this isn't true." Robyn sinks forward onto her hands. The judge raises her voice. "Order, order." The chaos settles slowly, as a fire reluctantly smothered. "Miss Brown," says the judge, "whose DNA is matched here?" Meri hesitates, swallowing hard. "I spoke to him before coming here," she says in a hushed tone. "I wanted him to hear it from me first. I wanted him to understand what we found." Christine appears nervous. Janelle stops breathing. "And he confirmed everything," Meri says, finishing. The judge asks again, more firmly, "Which one of Kody's children does this test point to?" Meri closes her eyes, only for a moment, before she opens them with devastation written across her face. "It matched Dayton." A scream bursts from Robyn, as if her soul has been ripped open. Kody stumbles backward. Christine gasps loudly. Janelle whispers, "No, not Dayton." Stunned, the judge freezes. "Dayton," she repeats. "Your oldest son with Robyn." Meri nods painfully. "Yes." And before the judge could say anything more, before Kody can deny it, before Robyn can collapse again, a voice comes from the doorway. A shaking, broken voice. "Stop." Everyone turns. Dayton stands there, pale, trembling, terrified, his eyes red, his breathing uneven. "Stop," he repeats. "Don't make Meri say it." "I'll tell the truth myself." The moment session 1 ended, the courtroom was already vibrating with tension. But session 2 begins with something even heavier: silence. A silence so sharp, It cuts through the air. Every camera shifts. Every eye in the gallery narrows. Even the judge leans back, as if preparing for a storm. Because now, it's Meri's turn to speak. She gets to her feet slowly, almost mechanically, as if every movement costs her strength she no longer has. Her hands shake, but her eyes, those eyes burn with years of swallowed pain. For the first time, she isn't just the quiet sister wife. She isn't the loyal one. She isn't the one who took it all to keep the family together. Today she is something entirely different, a witness, a survivor, and the keeper of a truth that could rip the Brown family apart. Meri turns to Kody. Even before she says anything, she looks at Kody, not with hatred, not with love, but a clarity which frightens him more. Kody shifts in his seat, trying to appear confident, but the worry in his eyes gives him away. Robyn places a hand on his arm, whispering something only he can hear. But Meri doesn't look away. She doesn't blink. For the first time, Kody is the one who looks like he wants to get away. The judge nods. "Mrs. Brown, you may begin." The envelope. Meri clears her throat. "Your Honor, this envelope contains documents that represent 10 years of my life. 10 years of messages, agreements, financial transfers, and private conversations. 10 years where I believed I was still valued, but instead I was being slowly pushed out." There is a ripple through the room. She continues, her voice shaking but steady enough to command the entire courtroom. "I didn't open this envelope for a long time, because deep down I was afraid of what it might prove. Afraid that the truth would finally show what I always sensed, that I was never meant to stay." Kody tries to stand up, and the judge bangs a warning. "Mr. Brown, sit down." Paragraph. Meri finally opens the envelope. The sound of tearing paper echoes like gunfire. The documents. She pulls out a stack of papers, some typed, others handwritten, still others printed screenshots, and places them gently on the stand, as if placing pieces of her broken life for all to see. "These documents," she says quietly, "show that long before I left, long before the public heard anything, long before I felt brave enough to speak, decisions were already made about me." She pauses. "Kody, you had already removed me from the family budget. You had already changed the inheritance structure. You had already told certain people, people I considered family, that I was no longer in the picture." Gasps, whispers, shock. Kody's face darkens, but Meri keeps going. And the part that really hurts is that everyone else knew. Everyone but me. Robyn's reaction. Robyn's eyes widen, unable to divine whether from guilt or fear. She leans into Kody. "This isn't fair," she hisses softly. She's twisting it. But the judge hears. "Mrs. Brown, Robyn Brown, if you interrupt again, I will remove you from the room." Robyn tightens her mouth shut. Meri turns a page. "This one," she says, holding a printed screenshot, "is a message from Robyn. Sent 3 years ago. It says, and I'll read it word for word. Maybe it's time she finds her own path. It will be easier for everyone." The color drains from Robyn's face. Meri breathes shakily. That message broke me, not because of the words, but because it confirmed what I had feared for so long. I wasn't part of the family anymore. I was becoming invisible. The judge intervenes. The judge leans forward with interest. "Brown, are there any financial discrepancies in these documents?" Meri nods. "Yes, Your Honor, quite a bit." She holds up the folder. "There were funds meant to be shared between all sister wives, and I noticed withdrawals, large ones, that weren't discussed. And those funds were moved into an account under Kody and Robyn only." Finally, Kody erupts. "That's a lie. Those were family decisions." The judge slams the gavel down. "Mr. Brown, Enough. Silence befalls again. Meri continues. For years, I remained silent because I felt that loyalty was more crucial than fairness. I thought silence kept peace, but all it did was to allow the truth to rot inside me. The emotional truth. Her voice cracks, not from weakness, but from the weight of honesty. For so long, I waited for you, Kody. I waited for acknowledgement, respect, a simple moment where you looked at me the way you looked at your other wives. Her lips tremble. But you didn't. You left me alone. You left me broken. You left me emotionally starving while pretending everything was fine for the cameras. She wipes away a tear. And every time I tried to fix it, every time I begged for clarity, someone told me, just hold on, it'll get better. But it didn't. It never did. Kody tries to look angry, but clearly feels a surge of guilt. His jaw clenches. His fists clench. Meri continues. I am not here to destroy our family's name. I am not here to punish anyone. I'm here, finally, to speak. Finally, to bring truth into a place where truth cannot be hidden anymore. The turning point. She slides one last paper forward. This, she says, is the most important document. The courtroom quiets down. It's a private agreement signed by Kody and Robyn that outlines how property, funds, and decision-making would be handled once Meri officially steps away. Her voice cracks. The date on this document is 2 years before I ever decided to leave. The whole room freezes. Robyn looks like she might faint. Kody looks like a man who realizes the floor beneath him is falling. Meri finally whispers, "You planned my exit before I even knew it was happening." Kody breaks his silence. For the first time, Kody talks without yelling. He speaks like a man cornered, bereft of the confidence that he has carried for decades. Meri. Things were complicated. We all knew the relationship was over. We didn't want to hurt you. She stares at him. Hurt me? You erased me. He opens his mouth, but no words come out. The courtroom reacts. A woman in the gallery cries. Someone whispers, "She deserved better." A reporter scribbles furiously. The cameras zoom in. The tension becomes unbearable. The judge finally speaks. "Mrs. Brown, have you got some more?" Meri nods slowly. "Your Honor, yes. But the rest, it is not just evidence. It is what happened behind closed doors. The conversations, the manipulation, the betrayals." With shaking hands, she seals the envelope. "And I am ready to share all of it." The judge announces a short recess, but the courtroom doesn't move. Kody stays frozen. Robyn buries her face in her hands. Reporters rush out. Lawyers whisper urgently. But Meri slowly sits down, exhaling a breath she has held for over a decade. For the first time in years, maybe the first time in her life, the courtroom returns from recess, but something has changed. The energy that once swirled like quiet tension is now thick, heavy, undeniable. Everybody knows that Session 3 is not just another hearing. Today, Kody Brown is going to have to defend himself, not with charm, not with excuses. Not with the emotional gymnastics that carried him through years of public interviews. Here in this courtroom, he must confront something he has spent his entire life running from: accountability. Kody rises. "Mr. Brown, it is now your turn. You may respond to the statements and evidence presented by Mrs. Brown." Kody's lawyer stands first, patting his client on the shoulder. When Kody rises, though, the confident air around him is gone. His movements are stiff, his breathing unsteady. He looks older, tired, frustrated. But most importantly, he looks cornered. He clears his throat. The judge motions for him to continue. Kody grips the edges of the podium. Our marriage had problems long before any document, message, or financial issue. We were struggling, both of us. I truly tried to find ways to make the relationship functional. But when emotions died, communication died too. This wasn't betrayal. It was survival. Meri sits still, but her eyes are razor sharp. Not angry, just unwavering, honest. Kody's voice catches slightly as he realizes she doesn't react like she used to. She isn't shrinking. She isn't begging. She is listening, calm, confident, and unbreakable, and that terrifies him. Robyn interferes. Again, her voice shakes and her jaw is tightly clenched. Your Honor, I need to clarify something. These documents, these messages are being taken out of context. Meri was unhappy for years. We all were seeking peace. Mrs. Brown, you were warned clearly not to interrupt unless called to the stand. But sit down. Gasps erupt in the courtroom. Smirks on faces and whispers fill the air. Robyn sits, fuming in silence. However, her eyes remain glued on Meri. Kody's explanation, or excuse. Kody runs a hand through his hair. The financial account she's referring to was not a secret. It was a safety net for emergencies, for the future. We discussed it, maybe not in thorough detail, but it wasn't done to exclude her. Meri's lawyer steps forward immediately. Your Honor, may we present Exhibit 14? The judge nods. Behind Kody, a digital transfer record lights up on the screen. Everything not authorized by the plural family agreement. All funneled into a private two-person account. Kody and Robyn only. The courtroom erupts. Kody's attorney swallows hard, but says nothing. Kody looks right into the screen while his shoulders tighten, as if the truth itself weighs him down. Meri's lawyer strikes hard. The lawyer starts. Mr. Brown, are you telling the court that a private account funded with family resources was acceptable without notifying the other wives? Silence. Kody's jaw ticks. I'm saying it wasn't malicious. I didn't think she needed to know at the time. The courtroom lets out a collective gasp. Meri closes her eyes in silent validation, not in pain. The truth is finally being spoken out loud. The judge questions Kody. Mr. Brown, the judge says firmly, marital transparency is an expectation in a plural household, legally and ethically. Why wasn't Mrs. Brown informed? Kody hesitates, y de pronto, sin pensarlo, grita. The moment the words leave his mouth, his lawyer's face drops. Not participating, she repeats softly. I mean, you were emotionally distant. Meri cuts him off, her voice clear and steady, painfully calm. I was distant because I was excluded. And now you've just confirmed it. The courtroom falls silent. Even the cameras appear to pause. Kody looks devastated, but not from guilt. Rather, from being caught. And then, just when the room reaches peak intensity, a door opens at the rear of the courtroom. Everyone turns. A new witness enters. A woman comes in. The judge clears her throat. And you are? The woman raises her head. A wave of shock hits the courtroom. Kody looks like he's seen a ghost. Robyn's face falls in utter disbelief. Paden steps forward, squaring his shoulders. I request to speak as a witness. I have information relevant to Mrs. Brown's claims. The judge raises an eyebrow. Paden shakes her head. No, I came because I couldn't stay silent anymore. Not after what I know. Kody's voice explodes. Paden, this is no place for you. Dad, you taught us to tell the truth. Today, I'm finally doing it. The judge motions to her to take the witness stand. Testimony of Paden begins. I grew up in this family. I watched the wives suffer quietly. I heard conversations I shouldn't have heard. She looks at Kody. Robyn whispers urgently to him, but even she looks terrified. Paden continues. I'm here to confirm that, yes, there were private discussions about removing Meri from the family. And these discussions happened long before she knew. The sound of Paden's voice breaks slightly. I'm sorry, Meri. You didn't deserve this. The courtroom reacts hard. Ms. Brown, can you give us some specific information? Paden nods. Yes. Dates, locations, and direct quotes. Gasps fill the room. This is ridiculous. She's misremembering. She always twists things. Paden doesn't even look her way. Robyn, you're the one who said, and I quote, Meri will leave eventually. We just need to make it easier for her. Robyn freezes. Kody closes his eyes. Meri's breath catches in her throat. That private account? Paden continues. This is important testimony. Do you have any proof? Paden lifts up a small USB drive. Yes, audio recordings. The judge bangs his gavel. The session has turned rather dark. Kody looks like a man completely shattered. The judge clears her throat. The gavel falls. But the story has only just begun. The courtroom fills again after a tense recess, though this time, people enter slower than before. Whispering, wondering, nervous. Reporters clutch their notepads as if today might become the biggest headline the Sister Wives world has ever seen. Because everybody knows, today the audio recordings will play, the evidence Paden brought. The recordings that allegedly capture private conversations. Conversations that were never supposed to leave the Brown home. Meri sits quietly at the plaintiff's table, her fingers interlocked so tightly her knuckles have turned white. She keeps her eyes forward. She doesn't trust herself to look at Kody yet, not after hearing Paden say the words. They wanted to make it easier for you to leave. Her lawyer whispers, you're strong. Whatever comes next, remember that. Meri nods, attempting to steady her breathing. The judge finally enters the room. All rise. Everybody rises. When the judge sits, she wastes no time. Today, we review submitted audio evidence. If authenticated, these recordings may change the entire direction of this case. Kody's jaw clenches. Robyn swallows hard, her eyes darting around the room. For quiet, expressionless, Paden sits in the witness chair. The tension is thick enough to taste. The first recording begins. The courtroom technician loads the audio file. The lights dim a little bit. A soft click. Then a familiar voice fills the room. Kody. Not courtroom Kody. Controlled, defensive, polished. No. This is living room Kody. Unfiltered, frustrated, pacing. I'm telling you, Robyn, she's pulling away. There's no point keeping her involved in every decision anymore. Robyn speaks, her tone even and measured. She'll leave eventually, Kody. Maybe we shouldn't push her, but we shouldn't stop her either. Meri's breath catches. The words echo in her chest. The courtroom murmurs in shock. Color drains from Kody's face. Robyn looks like the floor has given way beneath her. The judge leans forward. Continue. The next 15 seconds change everything. Kody's voice again, more frustrated, more certain. If she's not going to be part of this family, then the finances should reflect that. Robyn leans forward and whispers, "I agree. We need to protect what's ours." A gasp ripples through the courtroom. Meri presses a hand against her mouth. The judge raises a hand to quiet the room. The track continues. Kody. She's emotionally checked out. Why should she have access to everything? Robyn. Exactly. Maybe creating the account for us is smarter. It's the only way this works. And then, as if fate wants to stab Meri one more time, Robyn chuckles lightly in the audio. We'll tell her eventually, when she's ready to leave. The audio cuts. The silence afterward is stifling. Kody bursts. That recording is out of context, Kody shouts, slamming a hand down on the table. The judge narrows her eyes. Mr. Brown, control yourself. Kody turns to Meri, desperate. You know how things were then. You know we were struggling. But Meri doesn't look at him. She keeps her eyes fixed on the empty witness stand, as if replaying years of moments she now understands differently. Robyn breaks down. Robyn stands up abruptly, tears spilling. This isn't fair. That audio doesn't show everything. We were overwhelmed. We were confused. We were trying to protect our future. The judge replies icily. Mrs. Brown, sit down, or I will remove you from the courtroom. Robyn sinks into her chair, shaking uncontrollably. Paden watches silently, her jaw clenched, pain flickering across her face. This isn't easy for her either, but she stands by her decision. The second recording plays. This one begins with footsteps, someone pacing, and then Robyn's voice. I just don't want to feel guilty. If Meri leaves, she leaves. I won't force Kody to keep pretending for her sake. Kody loudly exhales in the recording. She's just extra work. Emotional work. I'm tired. The courtroom groans. Someone whispers, did he just say that? The recording continues. Maybe if she's feeling left out, she'll withdraw on her own. That would be neater, Robyn says softly. It will. It has to be. Period. Closes her eyes. Her chest tightens. She clutches the edge of the table because her hands won't stop shaking. But she doesn't cry. Not here. Not now. She won't give them the satisfaction. Kody tries to spin the story. It was a rough time, he argues loudly. Everyone vents. Everyone says things they don't mean. The judge nods sharply. Mr. Brown, you will speak only when you are addressed. He glares at the judge, but nods. Robyn frantically whispers. They're twisting it. They're twisting everything. But the audio speaks for itself. Meri finally speaks. The judge turns to her. Mrs. Brown, would you like to respond to this evidence? Meri rises slowly. Her eyes are red, but her voice is steady. Shockingly steady. Your Honor, all I ever wanted was honesty. Not perfection. Not favoritism. Just honesty. She turns, facing Kody and Robyn directly. For years, I blamed myself for everything. I thought I wasn't kind enough. I wasn't patient enough. I wasn't lovable enough. Her voice trembles. But today, hearing this, I realize something. The courtroom leans in. Meri takes a deep breath. I wasn't the one who gave up. Kody flinches, like the words strike him physically. Robyn stares at the floor. And if wanting the truth, Meri continues, makes me the villain in their story, then I accept that. Because hiding the truth made me a ghost in my own family. She sits. The courtroom is silent. silent in the way that only comes when pain transforms into power. A new twist, a surprise statement. The judge clears her throat. We have one more file, submitted by Ms. Brown. This, it seems, is from a different date. Ms. Brown, can you identify its origin? Paden nods. Yes, on an old device. I didn't intend at first to share it, but it matters. Proceed. The recording starts. Footsteps, whispering. A door closes. Then, Robyn's voice. Kody, if Meri stays part of the family, the inheritance won't work the way we had it planned. You know that. Meri's eyes widen. Kody's head snaps up. The courtroom erupts. Inheritance, someone says in a loud whisper. What inheritance? What are they talking about? However, the audio keeps playing. Kody replies in a low voice. Then we make the changes. Quietly. She doesn't need to know everything. Robyn says, she never will. The audio cuts abruptly. Even the judge looks stunned this time. She adjusts her glasses and exhales. This evidence suggests motive for financial exclusion. Possibly intentional, long-term planning. Kody's lawyer pales. Robyn covers her face with both hands. Meri just sits there, frozen. She's hearing her entire life flipped inside out. Not because she was unlovable, not because she failed, but it was because someone benefited from her being pushed away. Paden's final words. The judge asks her, Ms. Brown, why bring these recordings forward now? Paden looks at Meri. I always thought Dad would fix things, that he would admit what he did, but he never did. He blamed everyone else. And Meri, she was always left alone. She gasps shakily. I couldn't watch that happen again. Not here, not when the truth could help her finally heal. Meri's eyes fill with tears, but warm ones, grateful ones. For the first time, someone from the family is standing with her, not against her. The courtroom prepares for session 5. The judge straightens. The case is no longer purely emotional. It now involves possible financial misfeasance, deliberate exclusion, and even manipulation of the inheritance position. She turns a hard stare toward Kody and Robyn. Session 5 will determine if these behaviors are legal wrongdoings. Bang! The gavel falls. The room erupts. Reporters rush toward the exit. Spectators gasp, whisper, argue. Robyn cries, shaking uncontrollably and silently. Kody slams his fist against the table. Rage boiling inside him. And Meri? She sits still, calm, stronger than ever, because session 5 isn't just about truth. The air in this courtroom is different today. Not tense like before, not chaotic. Something heavier, something final. People take their seats, speaking in hushed whispers, with trembling voices, full of anticipation. Is this the day the judge rules? Will Kody take the stand again? What about the thing of inheritance? Is Robyn going to speak? Everyone knows. Meri comes in gracefully, head held high. The exhaustion is there. No one could hide that after years of emotional battle. Still, something else is visible too. A kind of peace. As if she finally knows who she is, without the weight of being Kody's wife. Kody enters next, looking nothing like the confident patriarch he once portrayed. His jaw is tight, his eyes dark with sleepless frustration. He walks beside his lawyer, who is whispering directions Kody doesn't seem to hear. Robyn follows closely behind, her sunglasses worn indoors to disguise swollen eyes, clutching tissues like a lifeline. But the most surprising face, Paden, already seated, shoulders strong, chin lifted, not with anger, but with resolve. When the judge enters the courtroom, Everyone stands up. Good morning. Today's session will address the final legal matters and determine whether this case moves toward a punitive ruling or settlement. She adjusts her glasses. The court has reviewed the audio evidence authenticated yesterday. We will now hear final testimonies. Kody is called to the stand. Again. He rises slowly. His steps are heavy. His breathing distinctly shaky. He doesn't look at Meri. He barely looks at Robyn. He looks defeated. He takes a seat on the witness stand. Mr. Brown, the judge begins. You've heard the recordings and the testimony. Before I make a ruling, you have one final chance to explain your actions. Kody swallows. I didn't want this, he says, his voice strained. I didn't want to be here. I didn't want my family, everything we built, to fall apart like this. The judge remains impartial. What exactly didn't you want? It can be clearly seen in the recordings that this was intentional exclusion. Kody rubs his temples. I wasn't trying to hurt Meri. I was overwhelmed. Trying to manage 4 marriages, 10 kids, finances. It was too much. Yes, I said things I shouldn't have said. Yes, I made decisions without her. But it wasn't malicious. He shakes his head in frustration. It was survival, that's all. But no one reacts. Because everyone knows that excuse is hollow now. Meri's lawyer strikes for the final time. Brown, she says, stepping forward, let me ask plainly. Did you or did you not create financial structures designed to benefit only you and Robyn? Kody hesitates. The judge leans forward. Answer the question. Finally, Kody's voice breaks. Yes, I did. A wave of gasps rolls across the courtroom. Robyn covers her face with her hands. Meri closes her eyes, grief sweeping over her, but also relief. The truth is finally spoken aloud by the man who denied it for years. Robyn loses control. Suddenly, Robyn gets up again. No, it isn't fair, she cries. He didn't do it alone. I was the one who pushed him. I was the one who said, who suggested, who thought. The judge snaps. Mrs. Brown, sit down or you will be removed. Robyn sobs, but does not sit. She steps forward. I loved this family, she cries. But it wasn't working anymore. Everyone hated me. Everyone blamed me. I felt trapped between being the wife he favored and the wife everyone despised. Her voice cracks painfully. I was trying to protect him, because no one else was. Not Christine, not Janelle, not Meri. The courtroom stirs. Even Kody looks stunned. Robyn wipes her face with shaking hands. You all think I ruined the family, but I was just trying not to drown. She collapses into her chair, sobbing uncontrollably. The judge sighs deeply. This court is not here to litigate emotions. It's here to determine responsibility. If you wish to testify, you may do so under oath. Otherwise, remain silent. Robyn bows her head. She says nothing more. Mr. Brown, the judge says, his voice firm. You described these actions as survival. Yet these tapes indicate long-term strategy, changes in inheritances, and conscious concealment of assets. To what would you attribute this? Kody looks down. His voice is barely above a whisper. I didn't think she would stay. Any of them. Finally, he looks at Meri. I was preparing for the end. Meri's breath falters. Not because she's shocked, but hearing it spoken aloud hurts more than she thought it would. Meri is called for final statement. She rises slowly. Her presence is calm, controlled, heartbreaking in its quiet strength. Mrs. Brown, says the judge, in soft tones. You may speak. Meri looks around the courtroom, at the judge, the cameras, the audience, and finally at Kody. I stayed, she says softly. Not because I was forced to. Not because I was weak. But because I believed in the promises we made. She breathes deeply. I believed in this family, even when it hurt me. Even when I felt alone. Even when I felt invisible. Her eyes glisten, but she doesn't cry. I stayed because I thought love meant loyalty. I didn't know it also requires honesty. She turns slowly toward Kody. You didn't prepare for the end, Kody. You created it. Kody's face contorts with pain, real pain, but he has no words. Meri adds in a soft tone, I don't hate you. Never did. I just wish you had trusted me enough to tell me the truth. Robyn's sob breaks the silence. Meri stands before the judge again. What I want, she says, her voice steady, is closure, not revenge. Just the truth acknowledged in this room, and the freedom to walk away knowing I wasn't crazy all these years. The courtroom is hushed. Even the judge looks touched. Thank you, Mrs. Brown, he says. His voice softens. This court recognizes your composure and transparency. She turns sternly toward Kody and Robyn. The court finds sufficient evidence to establish financial concealment, intentional exclusion, and manipulation of marital resources based on the evidence presented, as well as your own admissions. Gasps again. Reporters frantically scribble. Kody's body tenses up. Robyn trembles. The judge says, while this is not a criminal case, these actions have consequences. It is so ordered. The room leans forward. A full financial audit of all accounts created under Mr. and Mrs. Brown during the marriage. Any hidden assets will be redistributed on the basis of marital equality. Kody's face crumples. Robyn holds onto the edge of her chair. And further, Mrs. Brown shall be reimbursed for any financial exclusion that may be established during the audit period, the judge says. Meri's eyes widen, not out of greed, but out of shock. The courtroom erupts. The judge bangs down his gavel. Order! Order! This session is adjourned. Mrs. Brown, you will be sent further documentation within 48 hours. Bang. It is done. Aftermath. The hallway scene as people file out. Reporters push in. Meri, do you have a statement? Kody, how do you feel about the ruling? Robyn, do you regret what you said? Paden, why did you come forward? Security separates them. Meri steps out into the hallway, with sunlight streaming in through the high windows as though greeting her to a new life. For the first time in years, she braids, really braids. Deep, free, unbroken. Paden approaches her. I hope I did the right thing, she whispers. Meri gently touches her arm. You did. They share a quiet moment, one of the few real moments in this fractured family. Kody and Robyn's final moment. Across the hall, Kody sinks onto a bench, burying his face in his hands. Robyn kneels beside him, still whispering something frantic, desperate, something the cameras can't hear. For once, nobody pays attention to them. All eyes follow Meri as she walks through the glass doors. A woman who survived heartbreak, betrayal, and emotional exile. And she walked out stronger.